Anna was 58 years old and had never once eaten breakfast sitting down. Not because she didn't have a table. She had a beautiful one, oak with 6 chairs, that her husband Daniel had picked out 20 years ago when they moved into the house, and everything still felt like a beginning. She had a table and chairs and a kitchen that caught the morning light in a way that always made visitors say, "Oh, how lovely." But Anna was never sitting when the morning light came in. She was packing lunches, or answering emails before anyone else was awake, or quietly solving the particular crisis that each new day seemed to deliver to her door before she'd had a chance to want anything for herself. She had been this way as long as she could remember. The oldest of 4, the responsible one, the one who knew where the spare keys were, who remembered birthdays, who could sense when someone needed help before they had to ask for it. The teachers called her dependable.
Her family called her a blessing. And somewhere along the way, Anna had internalized, deeply and quietly, that her purpose was to be useful, that love looked like doing, that showing up meant showing up for others. The idea of showing up for herself had simply never made it onto the list. It was not that Anna felt resentful. That would have been simple to name. Most of the time, she felt grateful. She loved Daniel. She loved their daughter, Sophie. She loved her work, her sister, Claire, the neighbors who trusted her, the people who came to her when life became too heavy to carry alone. But love had become tangled with availability, and availability had become tangled with exhaustion. She did not notice the difference anymore. It was a Tuesday in March when something shifted.
Anna was at her desk at work. She managed a small nonprofit, which suited her perfectly, being useful by profession, when her colleague Grace appeared in the doorway with a cup of tea and an expression Anna couldn't quite read.
"Can I say something without you immediately telling me you're fine?" Anna laughed. "That depends on what you're going to say." Grace came in and sat down across from her. She set the tea on the desk with both hands, as if placing down something more important than a drink. "I've worked with you for 6 years," Grace said. "I have never once seen you take a full lunch break. I have never heard you talk about something you're looking forward to that wasn't about someone else. And today, you have circles under your eyes that weren't there last week." Anna opened her mouth. "You're fine, I know," Grace said gently. "But are you actually?" The question sat in the air between them. Anna looked at the tea, at her hands, at the stack of files on her desk that represented other people's needs, neatly organized and ready to be met. She wanted to say what she always said. "Of course, I'm just tired. It's been a busy week."
But something in Grace's voice made the usual answer feel too small. "I don't know," Anna said finally, and the honesty of it surprised her. Grace did not rush to fill the silence. She simply nodded, as if the truth had been welcomed there all along. Anna thought about Grace's question on the drive home, at the traffic lights, in the grocery store parking lot where she sat with both hands on the steering wheel while other people moved around her with bags and children and evening plans. And then in the driveway, sitting in the car for 3 minutes before going inside, which was 3 more minutes alone than she usually allowed herself. When had she last done something just because she wanted to? She tried to think of an example, something recent, something that belonged entirely to her, with no utility attached, no one else benefiting, no quiet justification of, "This will make me better at taking care of others." She couldn't find one. It wasn't that her life was unhappy. She loved Daniel. She loved her work. She loved Sophie and Claire and the rhythm of her days. But somewhere inside all that loving and doing and showing up, she had quietly disappeared. Not dramatically, not all at once, Just gradually, over years, in small increments, she had moved herself to the back of her own life and stayed there so long she'd forgotten she had ever been anywhere else.
That night, she told Daniel what Grace had said. He was washing the dinner plates while Anna dried them, because even in difficult conversations, she found it easier to keep her hands moving. Daniel was quiet for a moment. Then he placed a plate carefully in the cupboard and said gently, "She's not wrong, Anna." Anna looked down at the towel in her hands. "I didn't think you noticed." "I notice," he said. "I just didn't know how to say it without sounding like I was asking you to become someone else." That made her look at him. "I don't want you to become someone else," Daniel continued. "I just wonder if you might be tired of being available all the time." Anna wanted to answer quickly, to defend herself, to explain that someone had to keep things moving. But the truth rose before the explanation did. "I don't know who I am when I'm not needed," she whispered. Daniel did not try to fix that sentence. He simply came closer and held her hand. For once, Anna let him.
She started with one small thing. On Wednesday morning, she sat down for breakfast. That was all. She made her coffee, she put 2 pieces of toast on a plate, she sat at the oak table that caught the morning light, and ate without doing anything else at the same time. No phone, no emails, no mental rehearsal of the day ahead, no folding laundry between bites, no standing by the counter with one hand around a mug and the other hand writing a list. 8 minutes. That was how long it took.
It felt strange, almost uncomfortably quiet, like a muscle she hadn't used in so long that moving it felt unfamiliar. Twice she reached for her phone without thinking. Once she nearly stood up to wipe a counter that did not need wiping, but she stayed. On Thursday, she did it again. On Friday, she noticed the way the light moved across the table, slow and golden, touching the edge of her plate. She noticed the sound of birds outside the window. She noticed that coffee tasted different when she was not drinking it as if it were a tool for survival. By the second week, the 8 minutes had become something she looked forward to. Not because they changed everything. They didn't. The emails still came. People still needed her. The nonprofit still had budgets and deadlines and emergencies that arrived with polite subject lines. But those 8 minutes began to form a small room inside the day where Anna belonged to herself first. And once she found that room, she began noticing other doors. The novel on her nightstand she had been meaning to read for 4 months. The pottery class she had bookmarked online 2 years earlier. The walk she used to take along the river before life got full and the walk got quietly canceled. One Saturday, she signed up for the pottery class. She almost canceled twice. The first time because Claire called to ask if Anna could help sort some paperwork. The second because she felt ridiculous standing in the hallway with an old tote bag and shoes she didn't mind getting dirty, like a child going to her first lesson. But Daniel smiled from the kitchen doorway. "Go make a terrible bowl," he said, and she laughed. She was terrible at it. Her first bowl was uneven and slightly sad-looking. One side leaned outward as if trying to escape. Her instructor, a patient man named Robert, looked at it and said, "Good. Now you know what the clay feels like."
That's the whole point of the first one. Anna looked at the misshapen bowl in her hands.
She had spent most of her life trying to get things right on the first attempt. Being easy, being prepared, being the person no one had to worry about. The clay did not care about any of that. It collapsed when she pushed too hard. It resisted when she tried to force it. It responded best when she stayed present. There was something humbling about that, and something strangely kind. She drove home with dried clay on her hands and something unfamiliar in her chest. Something that felt distantly like lightness. The changes were small at first. She began taking a real lunch break twice a week, then 3 times. She walked along the river on Sunday mornings, sometimes with Daniel, and sometimes alone. She read 10 pages of the novel before bed, even when there were dishes in the sink. Nothing fell apart. This surprised her more than it should have. The world continued when she rested. People adapted when she said, "I can't today." Her love did not vanish because she had boundaries. Her worth did not shrink because she was no longer endlessly available. At work, Grace noticed first. "You seem different," she said one morning a few months later. "Different how?" "I am not sure exactly. Less braced, like you've put something down." Anna thought about that on the way home. Less braced. It was exactly right. She had spent so many years braced, ready, available, positioned to absorb whatever came, that she hadn't noticed how much energy that permanent readiness was taking, how much of herself it was quietly consuming. She was still showing up for everyone, that hadn't changed, but now she was showing up for herself too. And somehow, unexpectedly, that made everything else feel more sustainable, more real, more like a choice she was making rather than a current she was being carried by. Sophie called on a Sunday evening, and they talked for an hour about nothing in particular. Work, weather. A recipe Sophie had tried and ruined. A movie neither of them had liked, but both had finished anyway. At the end, Sophie said, "Mom, you sound good." "I think I am," Anna said, and she meant it. "You seem more like yourself." Anna smiled. More like yourself. The words stayed with her after they hung up, like there was a version of her that had been waiting patiently under all the years of useful and dependable and always available. A version that hadn't gone anywhere, that had simply been waiting to be remembered. The pottery class runs on Saturday mornings now. Her bowls are getting better. Not perfect. Robert says perfect isn't the point, but better, more intentional, more hers. On the shelf in the kitchen, there are 3 of them in a row. Uneven, handmade, completely impractical. Anna loves them. One is too shallow. One has a rim that dips on one side. One is a small blue bowl with a glaze that pooled darker at the bottom than she expected. She uses that one for berries sometimes, not because it is useful in any remarkable way, but because it reminds her that something does not have to be perfect to belong. She still packs lunches sometimes and answers emails early and shows up when people need her. That part of her hasn't changed and doesn't need to. But she no longer confuses love with disappearance. She no longer believes that being good means being endlessly available. She no longer measures the value of a day only by how much of herself she gave away. She eats breakfast sitting down now, every morning, without exception, at the oak table in the morning light. 8 minutes that belong entirely to her. Sometimes Daniel joins her, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes she reads a page from her book. Sometimes she simply drinks her coffee and watches the light move across the table. It looks like a small thing from the outside, but inside Anna, it is not small at all. It is the daily proof that she is allowed to be here too. Not only as the one who helps, not only as the one who remembers, not only as the one who shows up when everyone else needs someone steady, but as a person with her own hunger, her own quiet, her own mornings, her own unfinished bowls taking shape slowly under patient hands. It turns out that returning to yourself does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like toast on a plate, a cup of coffee, a chair pulled out, a woman finally sitting down in the light. This space was made with care, and there's a place here reserved for you.